as well. My name is Arnaud Castanier. As you can notice from my accent, I'm French. However, despite my name and my nationality, I'm not one of the co-founders of Kaisers or MTÜ Refuge. So I'm just the host for tonight and a really strong supporter of the work that you guys have been doing. Welcome to this webinar. It's a very great pleasure to have you here. Just to let you know a little bit about the program. So after I speak, we're going to hear a few words from Laurie, who's the director of the e-Residency program. Then we're going to hear from Luc, who's part of EERICA, the Chamber of Commerce of the e-Residence. And then Eugene, Nazar, and Arnaud, the co-founders of MTÜ Refuge, are going to talk about the amazing work they've been doing since the beginning of the new invasion of Russia, new invasion from Russia to on Ukraine, and they're going to present what they've been doing. And of course, the most important part is that everyone will be able to ask questions, to know about their feelings, to know what they need, why they are making this new, why they're having this new fundraising, how they want to use the money that is going to be raised, and what are the key priorities for the support for Ukrainians in the coming days, in the coming weeks, and perhaps in the coming months. So again, I would like to thank everyone who's here. I would like to thank the residency team and EERICA for organizing it. And just before I finish, I want to say that as many people have noticed, there have been a lot of really positive, a lot of support for Ukraine since the beginning, since February 24th. That's been really amazing to see a lot of generosity coming from all over the world. It has been quite amazing. However, the situation right now is extremely serious and worrying. Of course, the war is getting more and more violent in certain areas. The situation is very dire, particularly in the east and the south of Ukraine. And after all of the movement of generosity in favor of Ukrainians, now what we can see when we talk with organizations who are on the ground is that the generosity and the donations are really decreasing. So unfortunately, it's getting more and more difficult for many projects to be supported and financed now, which is why it's very important to also support financially the initiative that Nazar, Eugene, and Arnaud have launched, because we need to be aware that all of the big international NGOs are still not going on the front lines, are still not going in the hardest hit areas. The people who are there, who are providing the best support to Ukrainians in those areas, are people like Eugene, like Nazar, and like Arnaud, people who are not professional of humanitarian support, but who have been launching this kind of initiatives when the war began in order to provide the best support to Ukrainians. And what makes Ukrainians still resist right now is the fact that people like them have been working day and night to provide the best support, to know the needs, to know how the money can be well spent, what kind of support is needed, and these people have been working really tirelessly since the beginning. So again, thank you very much for everyone who has been joining. Don't hesitate to go to the website refuge.ee to see what kind of projects have been supported and what kind of projects need to be supported. And please don't hesitate to make donations. Every euro matters because we need to support Ukrainians. We are here in countries that are at peace, but Eugene, Nazar, and all the Ukrainians are still in Ukraine right now, and they need our support more than ever. After this, now I think I will let Laurie speak and say a few words, and then we're going to hear from Luc before giving the floor to Eugene, Nazar, and Arnaud. And then again, I encourage everyone to ask as many questions as you want. Please don't feel shy. Those three guys are really great, and they'll be really open to discuss about anything, so don't hesitate to ask your questions. You can write those questions in the chat, and then we're going to select them and ask them directly to Eugene, Nazar, and Arnaud after their presentation. So thank you, everyone, and please, Laurie, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Arnaud. Yeah, really pleasure and honor to be here. and then trying to do our bit in terms of keeping the support flowing, because I think everybody has noticed in their own sort of Facebook feeds, Twitter feeds, news, whatever, that the topic starts to fade away, and that's just an absolute shame. Going back 8 years, I can say, like, although Estonia is very close to Ukraine, the fact that the war has been going on for 8 years wasn't so visible even here, and we are pretty close. So I can only imagine that, for the rest of Europe or even further away, it was even more distant, and it wasn't in the news at all. And there's a very real threat that it's happening again. Basically, that it drops out of the frontline news, it drops out of people's heads, out of people's minds, and then it's just something that we all have to work really hard to keep it going and to keep the support flowing. The topic of refuge and the idea is also really, really close to my heart as well, because the two first NGOs I supported personally when the war broke out with new ferocity was Slava Ukraini, which had an ambulance project, and they still have an ambulance project. So they're sending ambulances from Estonia to Ukraine, and these ambulances were parked in front of the e-Residency office. So it's kind of like was a very straight connection. It was helping them, and they were helping with ambulances. And the other NGO that I've been supporting so far has been Pro Patria, which is sending off-road vehicles to Ukraine. So they're buying them from farmers and hunters and whatnot all across Europe already, and then bringing to Estonia, fixing them up if they need fixing, and then sending it to Ukraine. So, and exactly the same thing that Arnaud mentioned, that big aid organizations tend to be slow, countries tend to be slow. I don't even need to mention some countries which are very slow, and the smaller countries and small organizations, they are faster, they are nimbler. Like Estonia started helping already in December. We started taking activities and actions, and just that we can move faster. So we need to do things that make an impact today. From e-Residency side, e-Residency has been quite popular among Ukrainians, always been top 3, top 4 country or market for us. More than 5,000 e-residents from Ukraine, more than 1,600 companies created. So of course, when the war broke out again, we were thinking about what can we do directly as the program. So we have done activities in 2 directions. One thing is towards new e-residents from Ukraine. So if there are Ukrainians today that see that becoming an e-resident, creating a company in Estonia helps them in some way, and we hope there are such, then this can be done free of charge, or basically all the costs that the state fees are collected, they are reimbursed for the ones that create new companies. So there is something. We launched this in April. Also, really glad to say that Estonian embassy is fully operational again in Kiev. So as of today, you can use that location to pick up your e-Residency card. There was a gap for 2 months basically. And with existing e-residents from Ukraine, we've been thinking like, how can we promote the businesses that still operate, because many do operate and they need customers, right? And they need support. So we have been promoting and then kind of creating this platform where businesses can still talk about how things are going with them. And it seems like we've been quite successful, because we came under a cyber attack last week. So it must have made an impact somewhere. So we were taken offline for, I think it was like 14 hours or something though. So, but thankfully our IT guys are pretty good. So we got back online the next morning. So no permanent damage done. And of course, we don't keep any data in a place where people can steal it. So no worries there. So that's kind of my main message, that we need to keep the support up. We need to keep it in the news. We need to keep it in people's minds, and small organizations move faster. So let's support the ones that move fast.
Thank you.
Over to you, Luke.
Yeah, thank you very much, Laurie. Luke, now the floor is yours.
Thank you, Arnaud. As Arnaud said, my name is Luke Seelenbinder, and I'm here today on behalf of EERICA, the Estonian e-Residents International Chamber Association. And it was a great privilege to help bring this webinar together last week and see really all the individuals to get come together, the e-Residency team, Arnaud, and then the members of Refuge as well. And really, I want to deliver a message on behalf of EERICA, on behalf of my fellow e-residents, on behalf of this international association that's that I'm a member of. It's really our privilege to support our fellow e-residents in Ukraine and throughout the world that have been affected by this Russian invasion of Ukraine. So when the opportunity to highlight what particularly MTÜ Refuge is doing was brought to our attention, we were just excited to get the chance to directly support what you are doing, because you're helping people that we could never directly reach. We could never directly give them food. We could never rescue them with an ambulance, but that's the opportunity that you have. So it's something that we really want to support. And as international members of EERICA, as international e-residents, I think many of us have been influenced by the Estonian ethos and its foreign policy. So while we don't live in Estonia, I think I speak for all of us when I say that we cannot help but enthusiastically support Estonia's generosity, moral clarity, and willingness to lead, really across all levels of government. And that includes e-residency. And I know I can speak for a lot of us when I say that I'm in a way more proud of what Estonia has been doing and what e-residents have been doing than perhaps the actions of my own country of residency or citizenship. So on behalf of EERICA, I'm very glad that in a time when we all have to come together to continue to support Ukraine through the coming days and months, it's encouraging to see that that's exactly what this community is doing. And I don't want to take any more time away from the real heroes in here. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Luke, for these words. And thank you very much for the last sentence, which is a great transition to the heroes that you are mentioning. So Eugene, Nazar, Arnaud, so now the floor is yours. You can tell us more about what you've been doing since February 24th. And then I was saying that I saw that there was already Azhar who was raising his hand. So we're going to do the round of questions straight after the presentation from Eugene, Nazar, and Arnaud. But Azhar, you can also write down your question in the chat box. Thank you.
Yeah, so guys, hello everyone. It's really super nice to be there with you. And to be honest, like the first expression from our side, like in Ukraine, that we can see if we will see for the list of the country who help Ukraine. So the Estonia is #1 on the percentage of the economy that donate to Ukraine. It's really #1. And so we really can feel it on the high level between the governments and our small level, like a small NGOs. So I believe Nazar will share more information about all the donation and humanitarian support that we had. And also, yeah, we are e-residents. And also another thing about Estonia that I met Nazar actually in Estonia. We were in the Startup Wise Guys Business Accelerator. So like in our normal life, we are entrepreneurs and we made a business software. In my startup, we manage EdTech technology. So for sure, since the war started, we changed it completely. And right now, our main focus is like to buy helmets, to buy ambulances, to organize evacuation buses and everyone else. Yeah, so super happy to share all experience that we have. And Nazar, maybe you can start from the first one.
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. First of all, I would like to start with saying thank you for organizing this webinar, but also thank you for all the incredible help we got from Estonia. It really is the highest share of GPD that Estonia is donating. And I also personally experienced it as main activity probably I was doing during the first months was picking up humanitarian aid on the border together with the team. And 80% of that humanitarian aid was from Estonia. So it's more than 30 different vans full of bulletproof vests, helmets, food, and everything else. It was incredible to see, Estonian flags and different things in Ukrainian, and it was coming from, from Estonian Ukrainians, French Estonians, and everyone else, but it was coming from Estonia. It was incredible support in the first days. And also many volunteer drivers that were just taking trips from Tallinn to Ukrainian border, which is a pretty long trip. And that's how we met Arnaud, who was a volunteer driver. He rented a Bolt van and drove it all over here. That's how we actually met for the first time. Before, like Eugene said, before 24th of February, we were, Eugene and I were tech entrepreneurs. We met in Estonia in 2019, running our tech startups. But since the invasion, full all-out invasion started, we just organically changed our focus to humanitarian military help, everything we can. It started with buying radios in Finland through our friends, and on the way, just posting on social media who can buy 14 Motorola radios. Some of my friends from Tallinn said, "Hey, on the way from Finland, can you pick up our humanitarian aid? We would like to deliver it to Ukraine." And that's how the story started. It's just, organically was delivering more than 30 different vans really full of humanitarian aid. And so it's organically, we started just distributing this aid from the border. You can see my co-founder, Max, usually running our sales. It's our picture with Zelensky, who's our president. Just delivering it from picking up it on the border, organizing actually it from, you can see here, some sleeping bags and other stuff, but it's like 3 vans, I think, we fit into that truck on one day. And they're distributing it within Ukraine. So first it goes to big distribution centers of trusted organizations, and basically, but still smaller organizations, and then they distribute it to a military or humanitarian support or refugees, depending on a current needs. And that's where we started receiving a lot of requests as well, since no country could be probably prepared for such an invasion, and that's why the needs were like, there was a lot of needs in the early days, literally for everything. Sleeping bags, just bags for sand to build, the infrastructure and a lot of other things. And one of those was for the helmets, killer helmets. So I would give a speaker back to Eugene to tell a story about how we found more than 100 of helmets on the first days.
Yeah. Actually, it was the second week of the war, and for sure everyone was quite shocked, and we understood the situation, and we understood that first of all we need to protect our soldiers, we need to protect our guys. So we started create different chat between different people, and we had a different chat in different countries like Netherlands or Germany, and somehow we found that there are a lot of Ukrainians like everywhere. And a lot of small groups everywhere. And this quite first purchase that we made with this helmets, it was super spontaneous, because it was Thursday, and I don't know, around 4 p.m. something like this. So we just found it in Netherlands, in super small city. I even can remember the name, and the guy has had this on the stock, but he haven't right to sell it, because regarding the some bureaucracy and everything, so he haven't right to do it. And also he has the price around 50 euros per one helmet, but it's Kevlar helmet, they're pretty well, but they're used one, so it's not a new one. But anyway, he just on the phone like, "Oh guys, you are from Ukraine, what the fuck, just don't publish my name, please. I'll make a good discount for you, so yeah, please just do it." Okay, so we understood that we have 100 helmets in stock. Okay, what to do next? Have to deliver them from the super small village in the Netherlands to Ukraine. I don't know, somehow we manage Instagram stories. In 10 minutes we found 3 offers from different guys who can go like in 15 minutes from Rotterdam to this small city, and then to Germany, and then to Ukraine. So anyway, like in one day, so and the next evening, the helmets were in the Ukrainian border. And it was like, holy shit, is it possible? It's really like, it was super crazy for us, but it was a really cool sign that right now all Europe is united, and there are a lot of people who can help, and like the logistic, it's not a problem anymore. So anything we can deliver like in few minutes. So yeah, it was like quite first and inspiring project. But then for sure, like our team, our group, we start focusing for different needs in the different time. So for sure, in Lviv city, it was a huge wave of the evacuation. So a lot of people from Kiev, from Kharkiv, from Luhansk, Donetsk region, from everywhere, they starting to move to Lviv. So in Lviv trail station, it was like millions of people. So I never saw like this, and the people was devastated. Every time we heard the air sirena, air alarm on the trail station. So a lot of people already was from the area, and their house was bombed. So a lot of them just coming to us like, oh, sorry, I don't have any documents, so everything was burned in my house. So is it possible for me to cross the border? So it was super bad situation. But also somehow we had a call from Morton, and actually this guy, we also met him in Estonia, in Tallinn. I remember this bar. And we met him while we discussed some tech projects, but this time he called like, oh guys, I know Ukrainian and I am from Norway, so let's just I'll help to organize evacuation buses. Let's do it. And it was the call around 8 or 9 p.m. Yeah, Nazar, do you remember this? Yeah, so the next morning, like at 7 a.m. next morning, we'll find the bus and we'll go just straight to the train station, and we actually paint the color and paint the name like the free bus to Norway. And so right now it's really fun to remember this situation. Because, okay, can you even imagine that we can load the bus for 50 seats like in 5 minutes? I don't know, maybe it was even less. Just evacuation to Europe, free bus. Like, holy shit, we already have a big crowd everywhere. And to be honest, for people, it was really doesn't matter where to go, because some of them already lose everything. So Norway, Denmark, someone really even didn't know what the place is, like where this country on the map. But never mind, they were super happy to go anywhere far from the war, far from the bombing. So since this project started, we evacuate around 3,000 people. Then we start collaboration with Latvians guys as well, and for the full time it's around 4,000 people that was evacuated on free buses to Norway, to Germany, to Austria, and to Latvia. So, and but for us, the people who organize everything, it was like every day morning wake up to go to the train station to talk with people. And for sure, can you imagine like the people need to make a decision to go abroad like in one day, and they have a million questions like where to go, where they live, what is accommodation, what is salary, will they allow to have a job, what about the family, like is it possible to cross the border with the pets? I don't know, like a million questions. And it was really super hard situation. But for us as an entrepreneur guys, I believe it was like a good experience because we found a lot of new skills that there is no way we can find in another, I don't know, education program. So yeah, it was super nice, and right now we we already got a lot of feedbacks and a lot of really great feedback from people like, thanks a lot, you guys really help us, you saved us. And right now there are a lot of women with children, they stay in the safe place, and it's really super nice. We manage it, but to be honest, I'm not sure that we would manage this without like entrepreneurial skills, because we need to open some pre-registration, we need to create some forms, we need to discuss the price for buses, for gasolines, have to lower the price because we have like some budget, and for this budget we need to send much more people. So yeah, the skill set is really helpful here, because I don't know the approaches in the bigger organization, but usually big organization, I believe that they just have some normal activities like okay, this budget, this bus is okay, but we tried our best to manage this side. Then for sure we we moved to another project. Oh, Nazar, maybe I can share a bit about the story. Yeah. So that also, it was like the first month, and we start like a small collaboration with the military guys, and we got their request, and the request was for radios, for military walkie-talkies, and it was a big need. So I don't know, we haven't any experience to buy the products that has two, like Nazar, how it's called, like a two the product that can be used in military and can be
a dual use products.
Yeah. So this one, there are a lot of questions here: how to buy them, what the bureaucracy, what the paper need to prepare, and everything. But anyway, I use my contacts in EdTech field with British guys, and I don't know, I just sent a message for tech community like, guys, sorry, could you please find a connection who can help us with these radios? And okay, like in one day they connect us with the guy, and they provide a very good price for the radios with good qualities, and they really fit our soldiers. And like we bought everything, like the full stock. It was the time, I don't know, I never had experience like this, like talking with the provider, and okay, how many do you have, like how much do you have actually in stock? Okay, just make invoice for everything. Yeah, so we definitely we buy everything. But the most interesting part of this story that this guy, who actually the seller, just to speed up the delivery, he jumped on his truck and deliver it to our border, and like from England. So it was like more than 2,000 kilometers, and the guy drove themselves, and it was for us, it's really super cool. So we got a really nice product, plus a super like a delivery. It was like 3 days or something like this. So it was crazy, but in this time we also feel like international support from people all around the world. How can they help us in this situation? So Nazar, what was next?
Yeah, on those days I felt sometimes like a human trafficker, and I was advertising a free bus outside to Europe to the people on a train station, or as selling guns or purchasing military equipment. So this one was a request. We were collaborating and helping the biggest foundation in Ukraine. It's called Come Back Alive, Povernys Живым, to actually do a procurement and finding this military radio. So they have paid more than 250,000 British pounds, $250,000 for those radios. But we organized all the delivery and found a celebrant buyer. But it was a huge responsibility to actually do this. And back to this picture, if you can just, Eugene, scroll back to the one with buses. It also shows the power of what you are doing and what you built in Estonia, because it all started with the e-Residency. Both myself and Eugene applying for it, starting our companies in Estonia, then going to Startup Accelerator, and then meeting each other, and then meeting Morten, who is in the middle, a Norwegian investor who actually invested more than 30 different startups. And then when the crisis started, he just called us and asked, I want to organize buses. Can you help find some buses to Norway? I will pay to it. And thanks to all this networking and connections and us being in Estonia, it was actually possible. And in the end, more than 4,000 people were safely evacuated to Europe. Yeah, I think so. We did a couple other projects. We also had a request from our friends in Kyiv, early days, that they need an ambulance, and actually an armored ambulance. So we started looking for these ambulances. Can you show the pictures? Yeah, okay. So it's a Eugene's friend who actually posted this. It was a transport that they used in the early days to evacuate the soldiers and civilians from the front line near Kyiv, the Irpin and Bucha area. And we said, hey, that's really bad. We need to find an armored ambulance for them. In the end, we realized that there is really a lack of armored ambulances in the world. They're very expensive, and not too many of them. So we did another thing. We purchased a regular ambulance, and then another, which was an armored cash and transit car. You know, just vans like Mercedes Sprinters that deliver cash, but they're armored, so that they can use our creativity, so that they can pick up all those front line where the risk of shootings is high, but then delivers them later on with a regular ambulance. So you can see my happy face with a Kalashnikov. First time in my life having it, but the soldiers put it on me. But this was funded as well by our own money, but also for our friend Morten and other basically friends and family, what we call an early stage funding, right, over here. Yeah, Eugene, would you like to add something?
So here, I don't know, just to add something personal. So that was just not an ordinary request. So actually, this guy on this photo, Valery, actually he is my surgeon. So in my life, I had a lot of experience with surgeons, but he actually was the guy who cut me and made a surgery. So he was part of the team, and in normal life, he like a highly professional and international doctor, the surgeon. He had many international experience, so he's like a really good one. But since the war started, he like in the next day he joined the military guys as a medical doctor. So when he just sent me this photo, like this is the transport that we use to evacuate soldiers from the first line, I guess like a shit, fuck guys, we need to do something. So yeah, it took some time, to be honest, to find the armored vehicle, to manage everything. But anyway, I believe in 2 or 3 weeks we closed this request and we delivered it. And yeah, it was really a worse experience, maybe because it was the first months of the war, and the Irpin region was occupied, and we delivered it to this vehicle, and we drove them from Lviv to Kyiv, and it was really hard. A lot of block posts, and there is the area with a high risk, so for us, like not a military guys, just a civilian volunteers, it was quite stressed to do it, but anyway we made it and they use it and they are super happy, and for now we feel it free that we hope the armored vehicle will save the medics and the soldiers inside as well. Yeah, so but then we understood that it's really good to continue activity that you already made, because you have a good connection, you know the full line, where to find ambulance, how to deliver them, and how to manage the custom, and how to prepare documents and everything. So then we got a request from paramedics from Dnipro region, and in Dnipro, Kryvyi Rih and Zaporizhia, for sure, it's really close to the frontline zone. So they had like they usually have a lot of evacuation requests and requests for people with disabilities, people who can't sit, who can't walk, and for sure it's really hard to evacuate them. And a normal ambulance, like a regular one, for sure, during the war period of time, they can they can help only with emergency request, not just to transfer people with disabilities. So for sure, for these needs, paramedics need to have some specific vehicles. But also in this situation, it's not just a spontaneous request. So this team of paramedics, we work with them on our buses, because every time when we organize evacuation buses from Poltava, from Zaporizhia, from Dnipro. Inside the buses, we had a lot of people, like old people, people with some disabilities, or people who just stressed, or people from Mariupol or some occupied territories. So they're super hungry. The health is not so good after the few weeks in shelters without proper food, everything. And then they have this trip in the bus for 20 hours, for 25 hours. So for sure, we need to be sure that the bus is safe. So we ask paramedics to assist the bus, and it worth it for sure. We had few cases on the buses, but thanks God we had paramedics. They manage everything. But anyway, so thanks for the first project with buses. They got this request and we already know them. And yeah, they asked like, sorry, we don't have any proper vehicle, so please help us. Yeah, we managed this request. And I had the call yesterday from the paramedics, and they were so grateful and so thankful, because they mentioned that one of the military bases was bombed by Russians, and they had a call from a military guys just to help, because it was a very big bombing, and they have a lot of dead soldiers, they have a lot of injured soldiers, wounded soldiers. So like they told us, guys, super helpful. So this ambulance already used in the good way and helping people, helping soldiers close to the front line. So yeah.
So that's how we decided to focus more on the ambulances, as we can easily, like not easily, but we can find them through our connections in Europe and buy them for relatively cheap, what we think. Like the ambulances you can see in the pictures, the one on the right, it costed like 9,000 euros in total. The one, actually both of them are like roughly 9,000 euros, which we think is incredibly cheap on how you can think how many lives they can save. Like the one on the right has more than 700,000 kilometers, but we did a good service here in Lviv, and it will serve at least another year, you know, serving hopefully without any bombing or anything, but it can save many, many lives. So I would like to focus more on it, as we see that there are many groups that are doing them, but we still see and receive a lot of requests for the ambulances getting destroyed every day. And here, Eugene, if you don't mind, I would like to turn it back to Arnaud Just a short story how I met Arnaud, and I was impressed. We met after 24th of February when he was delivering as a driver as a humanitarian aid, and told me the story. Really shy guy, but he told the story that when the war started, he just took his car and drove all the way from Tallinn to Ukrainian border without knowing anyone, just to pick up refugees. And he picked up just random refugees on the border and hosted them for I know another couple of months at their apartment until they decided to come back to Ukraine. As you know. And it wasn't just it. Then he did a couple other trips with humanitarian aid, and on one of those was delivering the pickup trucks as well. One of these convoys organized by Ragnar. It was the first convoy that Arnaud was driving, and then took a couple of trips with me to, actually one trip to Kiev region, to Irpin and Bucha, making pictures, photos there, and talking to the family, talking to the people over there. But the most I was impressed by how he bravely decided to just go to Kharkiv during the hardest shelling ever. The whole city was shelled, and said, you know, I have a friend there and she will not evacuate by herself because she's afraid. And I would understand her because it's heavy shelling. He just took a train to Kharkiv, went there, visited a couple of hospitals, and evacuated his friend to Tallinn, all the way from Estonia. And saying that the moment in my apartment in Lviv, we were discussing starting an MTÜ together, right, Arnaud? So yeah, the microphone is back to you and to the activities you are leading in our group.
Yes, I think you made pretty good introduction. Thank you a lot for those words. Yeah, I'm a bit spontaneous, so most of the time all the things I did were pretty much decided the minute before. But as you said, Eugene, very well, we learn things a lot in those times. Maybe it's not the best time to learn those, but we are forced to do it. So just collecting military equipment, collecting humanitarian aid, driving thousands of kilometers, passing borders, even passing checkpoints, those things that you never expect to do in your life. And day by day, you just learn all those things. You know that for a checkpoint, you need to keep your hands on the wheels. All those small details that you will never know and you will never learn in school, but you finally learn them on the field. Yeah, and after all those trips, yeah, basically I was thinking that if I make some organization in Estonia with Eugene and Nazar, it will help because we have more space covered, that we can cover 2, 3. I mean, when I say Estonia, I also think about the Baltics. So it means that, yeah, we cover more space, more people, we can separate the actions. So like on the last few weeks, I know that Nazar and Eugene focused on the ambulances. And on my side, I realized in Kharkiv how the situation was really messed up. I can tell that the day I was there, it was maybe a bomb every 45 seconds. It was absolutely insane. And fortunately, at the same time, Nazar received a request from NGO in Kharkiv. Same, it's triggers that didn't do anything before the war. They were local activists, so doing some small actions in the neighborhoods. And they just decided to start their own action. And right now they are delivering basically around 1,700 food packages to civilians around Kharkiv. There is no water, there is no gas, there is no electricity. The shops are barely open. They start to open a little bit right now in Kharkiv. Sadly, people have been thinking that the situation was better in Kharkiv, and when they came back, it's becoming worse again. Reason is that Russian use against civilians cheap weapons, and those weapons are like small range, like 20-30 kilometers. Ukrainians have been pushing Russian a bit more than that during the first week, the third week maybe of May. And people felt that it was safe to come back. And now they are coming back, but the Russians are close again to the city and they're bombing again. So the first action was actually of MTÜ Refuge precisely, was to provide those triggers bulletproof jackets. It's not you know, it's not 100% security thing, but it's already something for them, because the more it's going, the more they're going further from Kharkiv and closer they get to the front line. and more territory they cover. And I was talking with them today, and they told me that they are currently letting go Kharkiv itself because some other people are taking over, and they are getting closer to the front line, getting closer to the city that are liberated, but still in a very in tension, I would say. And you can see on the Instagram, they post those pictures. If you look at the time frame of the pictures, you can see that they literally post pictures every, I don't know, every hour. They meet a lot of people. They do very, very important action. They also, distribute medicine. I have been having a lot of requests from people from Kharkiv telling me, yeah, my grandma is in the bed and she can't move and she needs this hurt medicine. And whenever I give it to them, the next day the hurt medicine is delivered. They do absolutely incredible job. Can't even describe, but the Instagram I think is a very good description because it's full of picture and they just never stop. And so right now the main goal of Refuge, I would say, is definitely to provide them with a van, because right now they are delivering with very old, I don't know what it is, I think it's Opel Corsa. I know that 2 weeks ago, because of loading, it's a Fiat. Because loading it way too much, they broke down. So basically the wheels in the back just exploded, like the tires. And you can see on the pictures that it's clearly not suitable to keep the reason. With a van, they will be able to double, even triple the distribution, definitely. They will be also way safer when they need to evacuate fast, because you can imagine that with a Fiat Punto where the wheels is touching the mudguard, it's not the most efficient to evacuate. So yeah, you can see the bulletproof jacket that we delivered, level 4, nice gift from Estonia again. And right now the goal is really to get this van. It's very, very important because this little van can actually provide food for thousands of people every week. Right now we have options for the van. We are working on that. We found van in Lviv. We have maybe other options, still thinking about what is the best option. But right now we raised something like for this van 1,500 euros. It's not a lot. It's still a big thanks to everybody that did it. But we need more. The van is something, but we need to also understand that there is a lot of side cost. Registering the car, driving it to the border, driving it from Lviv to Kharkiv. It means that we also need to have our own protective gear, and we do everything that we can to get that on the personal side. And also, one thing it is very important with Refuge is that we deliver very fast. As Nazar, as Eugene said, we met so many people since the beginning that whenever we need to ship something to Ukraine, we can ask to all our amazing colleagues in Estonia, like Slava Ukraini, or even Ragnar with Lift 99. Whenever we need to send something, we know that some car is leaving the next day. And I tend to joke about that, but we are faster than FedEx in peacetime, faster than UPS and faster than DHL. You can totally assure that everything is reaching way, way faster. And we talk about a country in war. And whenever it's going to be the van, for example, I'm going to deliver it myself. I'm not going to take intermediates. I'm not going to wait for some kind of bureaucracy. I will buy the van and I will come to Kharkiv right away with Nazar. The goal also to go to Kharkiv is not to be kind of some kind of hero. The idea is to also assess the situation, understand how it is, and see what is the next step for us. Because until the war is not over, there is not going to be any stop in the activities. And day and nights, I can say that for Nazar as well and Eugene, we will not stop. Like, to me, it's just like that. And until Ukraine is not free, we will continue the activities. So anytime that we finish a mission, there will be a new one the next day. And that's the point of going to Kharkiv, for example, right now. It's to understand how it is, meet new people, understand the needs, and again, create a new raising, find new ideas. As always, we learn things. But right now, I would really love to focus on the fact that we need to raise a bit more. We need to raise maybe 2,000 more. And we need help for that. And I understand that right now, Europe is in very bad crisis in terms of economy. Inflation in Estonia is the highest. And I do understand that you can't save money or you can't give a lot of money, but every 5 euros, every 10 euros is very important. So that's all for me, I guess.
That was great, Arnaud. Thank you. I would like just highlight the same thing. Even every contribution matters, because we're not talking about millions here, but this Nazar 2,000 euros will help to actually purchase this one and double the amount of help that these guys on a place can do. The double of double number of families that they can reach during a day, and literally can save someone's life who will receive this food package for a week. And we're not a big organization, so we're not taking any salaries or anything like that. We're just spending our money into it. The only reason we're starting a fundraise because we are closely out of our own money. We invested obviously spent roughly 150,000 euros of our own profits from the companies and our own savings. But your contribution matters a lot, and through the Instagram pages that we run, as well as the volunteers in Kharkiv, you can see the activities that they can support.
Yeah, and yeah, exactly, as Nazar said, and I would like to add also that their mission with the ambulances is not over, and that donation anyway, when this mission of van is completed for me on my side, on the Estonian side, I will anyway redirect the money to Nazar and Eugene. That's why we have those two organizations, because we literally are the same actually in some way. We just try to separate a little bit the amount of work, because the amount of work is pretty crazy. I know that for some people, buying a car in the normal life is already a struggle. And right now we end up in a situation that we need to buy dozens of them. And yeah, I think it's very important. And I know it's hard for people, but when you have been to Bucha, when you have been to Irpin, when you have been to Kiev, when you have been to Kharkiv, and when you hear the bombs falling like that, not in Kiev region, but in Kharkiv, you understand this thing. Right now, maybe we don't have all the power of communication as maybe big NGOs have, but I really advise to people to, I don't want to play this feeling thing, but I really advise people to watch, for example, this documentary about Mariupol that has been made, that is freely available on YouTube. And even from my own experience from the last weekend, I went to, like 2 weeks ago, I went to Narva to pick up people from Mariupol as well. And all the stories that come in, there is not a single person that will not be able to tell you that he has been burying grandma or daughter or girlfriend in the yard of the building. It's not like some kind of emotional lie that I'm trying to tell you so you give money. It's just truth. Right now, it is the truth that nobody in Mariupol is leaving the city without leaving someone in the courtyard. It's not even a grave, it's like just a piece of dirt. And this situation is going to happen again and again and again if we don't do anything on this side. In Estonia, a lot of people help the military. It's amazing. On our side, we try to help the civilians. I think all together we kind of have a great effort, because it's not of any point to fight for a country if all the people in this country are dead. So I think the help has to be on the both sides. And right now in Kharkiv, if people don't get food, it will like end up like in Mariupol. Even without the Russians around, they will just die out of food, out of healthcare, out of water. And this is very, very important. It is not like they can find anything in the shops, because nothing is reaching there. Neither humanitarian, neither the normal functioning big shops. There is absolutely nothing. Everything is on standby, and the food needs to arrive there. The food, the water, and the medicine, because this is literally vital.
As Arnaud mentioned, our second project is right now what we're working on is fundraising for the ambulance for military that are actually nearby. They're defending Kharkiv, and there's forming a new battalion. They have a lack of an ambulance car. So we found one already. It's a really good condition. So I think this one needs to be a bit more reliable, because they are evacuating it from battlefields. So it's important that it will not break down in the middle of fight or something. So this one is 2010 Volkswagen Transporter from Poland, has a new engine, and it's actually reserved for us, but we don't know how much longer they can wait. It's actually really good condition. So we've donated 4,000 euros of our own money, and we're looking right now for another 6,400 to actually buy it out, choose the service and the check, and deliver it to Kharkiv. So this would be, this is a direct request from the people we know that are in the military that they need it. We confirm with them that it would be a really good fit to what they need. It's not too big and it's good condition, and then not too expensive, so we wouldn't spend months on a fundraising. So right now we just need to raise the rest for this in order to make it happen. So we would really appreciate your contribution, as well as any connections to somebody who can donate directly the whole ambulance. So we will take care of logistic, picking up, service, and delivering to where it needs to be, with all the reports, document signs, anything else I need. But the ambulance are in high demand right now too. Yeah, Eugene, back to you.
Yeah, maybe fortunately or unfortunately, we are not allowed to make any photos on the military base, but 3 days ago, I've been in Pokrovsk city. It's 30 kilometers to the front line. We actually got a mission to bring the medical aids here, but we also had like an ambulance from partners, and I was joined the team as a driver, and so it was super crazy, guys. We just deliver the medical aids, but they call like, oh holy shit, we have a big wave of the injured people, injured soldier from the battlefield. Could you please help us with ambulance? To be honest, for me it was like a shock, because like I'm not like a super qualified guy, like a driver as for ambulance actually, but there is no time, and for sure, like, yeah, sure, we will help. And we came for this small village where it's a hospital, and I saw for my own eyes that the vehicles from the first line, they come in like every 15 minutes with guys, with the soldiers with trauma, with the soldiers with like wounded soldiers, and in different condition. And it was like a super crazy, because every 15 minutes new car, 3-5 wounded soldiers, and the next one and the next one. And for sure the Russian, they bumped ambulances many times. So looks like we already have like a lot in Ukraine, but I saw in my own eyes 3 days before that there is a huge needs, because every time there is a battle and every time the military guy, they have a lot of wounded soldiers. So yeah, the ambulance is high level needs right now. I don't know, maybe for sure, as a volunteers, we understood that we need to make a lot of photo, a lot of video, just to show that everything work. And I don't know, we talk about the Kharkiv, and may just for a sec, and I'll share a few photos with you.
I mean, you still need to have some time for questions, I guess.
Yep.
So we don't spend all the time just talking.
But as Eugene said, showing the pictures, yeah, that's also one reason that we try to make as much picture as possible, so people see that we actually take the thing, deliver them, and we do the job. And that's the thing that you will not see on the big NGOs website right now, because nothing is really reaching the destinations. And not trying to make their actions less or more, but I'm trying to say that we are doing the things, we are showing them to you, and we do everything by ourselves, because when you do everything by yourself, then everything goes faster.
Okay, so guys, to be honest, for the third month, I already forgot how to use Zoom. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, we can see yourself. You in yellow jacket.
Yeah. So actually, this building, it's not just an ordinary building. Actually, this building, it's my university. So I spent 4 years here, and I do remember all the names of these windows because it was our classes. And this is actually the building of the economy faculty of Kharkiv National University. And when I was there, it was like completely shocked for me because everything destroyed. And here you can see this yellow thing. Actually, when I was head of scientific society in my faculty, in my students year, actually that was a thing that I created by my hands on the first year on the university. So we need like a place where we'll put the different advertisements. So yeah, it was a fully metal. So I saw it like, okay, it stayed, but everything else you can see.
Good job, Eugene. It's still there.
From the other side.
And actually, the hospital in Saltivka in the north or Kharkiv is looking the exact same. And that's also one of the main reasons the ambulances are so much needed. Because I can tell you, I was in hospital in Kharkiv. I was in 2 hospitals. I have never seen such a flow of ambulances. You can go to hospital in Paris on Saturday evening. You will see less. It was absolutely constant. And the more ambulances you have, the more you can pick up people and bring them to the hospital. And because they destroy hospital, you need more ambulances because you need to go further. You need to cover more space in the cities, and to cover more space, you just need more ambulances. And for this reason, yeah, this is very needed. And I would like to maybe say something last thing, because I guess we should maybe listen to question. But the last thing I want to say is that the amounts we are raising are rather small in some way. We don't ask for thousands and thousands and thousands. We just ask for 10,000. 10,000 on the scale of many companies is not so much actually. And the impact is giant. The impact is really, really giant. That's why maybe it will be very important also that you share around, you share with your friend, you share with your contact on LinkedIn. The main thing is just to share. The more we share, the more we get contact. And if you share with people and people trust you, then they will trust us most likely. That's the point. So yeah, I hope we can raise this money pretty fast, because we also have rough timelines. It's not all about raising the money, it's about raising the money fast. The idea will be to go to Kharkiv next week for me, so to buy the van in the next few days that come. And same for the ambulance. It's not about in 1 month. It really needs to come fast. And yeah, not to pressure everybody. It's just how it is, because war is not so much time to talk. Actually, it's really time to act. And the less you talk, the faster you act. Actually.
Thank you very much, Arnaud, for these words. We lost a few people, but this video is going to be shared and pushed again by the e-Residency program and by EERICA, because I mean, as you said, there are these very urgent needs: an ambulance for which you're raising 10,000 euros and a van for which you're raising 3,000 euros. But then the needs are going to, I mean, there will always be some needs in the foreseeable future. So there'll be more ways to help and support your initiative. Are there some questions among the people who are here? Justin, do you have a question or anyone? Yes, Justin. You can speak directly.
I entered it in, but you can just, I mean, I was just asking for some detail on when you obtained e-Residency, and when was the MTÜ actually set up exactly? Was it in February immediately, or when did that happen? What was the timeline there?
For the residency, I will leave Nazar and you answer. Basically, the MTÜ was created 3 weeks ago. Before that, I was acting on my own, doing small things, but Nazar and Eugene have been working since the beginning with the NGO in Ukraine that is called Casers. So yeah, MTÜ Refuge is very young in terms of status, but pretty old in terms of experience.
And from my side, yeah, we got residence, I believe, 3 years already. Yeah, actually, it's already have since the war started to count the previous years, but yeah, I believe it was 2.5 years, something like this. But the process was super easy and super fast. So for us, we were shocked, like, oh my gosh, is it possible? Is it real? Like a digital government, digital society, and we can super easy get papers and documents to start business. Yeah, it was really super quick.
Yeah, I got mine in 2017, and I'm a geek, so it was a really cool experience to go to e-Residency, just to see how it works, and you can do cool stuff with it, but also to start a company in Estonia and get access to the international payment system. So at that time, PayPal wasn't available in Ukraine, many others, so it was a very good reason to start this as well, and the process was very smooth.
Thank you very much. Justin, do you have any other question?
Well, how does the MTÜ help you now that it's been set up? I mean, what are the benefits of it? I think I know the answer, but I would just pose the question to you anyway.
Arnaud, would you answer that as a head of MTÜ?
Yeah, definitely. No, the point is, as I said in the beginning, is to share the task mainly. Basically we can cover more requests, and we can basically, for example, the van right now that I'm looking for, I can do it in Estonia. I will deliver it myself, but at the same time, Nazar and Eugene can focus on the ambulances, but we always communicate together. So whenever there is a need for whatever, do we need for administrative question about Polish vehicle registration? If I don't know, then Nazar is going to help me. If I need to know something about ambulance, then I can ask Eugene. And that's the point, yeah. Covering more territory, covering more people, sharing the task, and still sharing the knowledge between each of us.
I would add also that, yeah, having an MTÜ on in Estonia, it helps us to accept donations in euros and also spend in euros. There are like currency exchange control in Ukraine right now. Due to economical reasons, so it might be harder to purchase something just outside of Ukraine and deliver it. So even just logistical and technical things are very helpful as well, to have two, jurisdictions of where we operate.
Again, as Eugene said about the easiness of everything in Estonia, it also allows to make everything very, very fast. In Estonia, when you make a bank transfer, it comes in the next second. In Estonia, when you do anything, it comes the next second or the next day. And I can tell you, being French, that if I was trying that in my country, I could even wait 2 months to create any organization. To create the MTÜ, it took me 1 day and a half, something like that, just writing the status, pushing the send button, signing digitally, and MTÜ is created. And everything is like that. And it comes also with money that bank are fast. We actually use LHV because it's an Estonian bank. It's very trustable, I can tell, because I'm using them personally. And once again, I don't know if anyone from LHV will hear that at some point, but well, I'm very thankful to them because their system, their payment system is amazing. Their interface, everything is very, very good, and the support also is perfect.
And for sure, I would add the credibility from the Estonian entity. So for sure, when you have a lot of international collaboration, it's pretty neat to have like a good credibility of the country, because when you have some accounts or entity in the countries with the high level risk, for sure it's the same risk for your business. So when you have e-residence and when you manage your contracts on behalf of the Estonia entity, so for sure it's super safe, and there is no problem with any partners all around the world.
Thank you very much, Eugene. I think we probably have time for one more question. I mean, the football game is not going to start. It's not starting right now. Luke, maybe you want to ask a question?
Sure. So I had just a question of how we can help more, because I know for many of us, like my friends, I'll ask them, can you donate? And they'll say, well, I've already donated everything I can. So we share it, and we hope that others that perhaps haven't donated. But is there anything else that you can think of that we can do? When we're not in Ukraine, we're not maybe in Tallinn as e-residents, but is there something else that we can do to really help you?
I will say share more is the first option, of course, but the thing is share better, because it's okay to make a post on social media, and some people will be reached by it. But if you start writing personally to people, then it also has a huge impact, because you talk to someone by yourself. I know that at some point it will become harassment if the war is continuing like this. But at the same time, yeah, we have a roof, we have food, we have water, and right now a lot of people don't. So honestly, I think this is a small effort to make a message. You can write it in your notes and send it to all your friends, even less friends. Doesn't matter so much in this time. And yeah, so yeah, sharing more and sharing better. That's the point. And obviously we don't have, I mean, none of us with Nazar and Eugene, we have been studying marketing, but I guess many people around us have been studying marketing as itself. And in this sense, they can also do their little part. And influencers could be a very good option. So whoever you know as influencer, it's already a huge help.
Actually, from my side, we have two options that you help us. For sure, regarding the ambulance, one way is to fundraise and buy it. The other one, just find someone who can donate vehicle as well. So right now we have a chat of our volunteers, and we trying to search a different country and to talk directly to the organization who is the owner of the ambulance, just to talk with them that, okay, guys, if you have anything, we can organize everything. We can just come to you, take the key, and manage everything till the place there is a big need right now. So it's actually the work like a communicate, to talk, to find. So we have a chat. If you want to join, just let me know. I'll add you, and we have all the scripts and everything. It's from one side. From the second side, we still have evacuation buses, and in these evacuation buses we have a small amount of people with disabilities, people who have some ill, and the people who need treatment. So right now it's really took a lot of time as a volunteer's job just to try to find the place where the hospital can take care of them. So it's some kind of search for the hospitals to help people with disabilities. Yeah, we also have another chat where we, first of all, we create the patient card, and then we share this patient card with all the hospitals. So yeah, it's also one of the ways how to help. So it's like in my pipeline, it's first two projects.
I would be very short. Just don't forget about us. You know, any action you do is very helpful right now. When you open like some European or American news and you don't see Ukrainians there anymore, it just feels sad here. So sharing anything on social media, reaching out to your local communities, how you can help, to your friends, that would all help.
Yeah,
and we appreciate it a lot.
Just as also Eugene said, it's not only about money. That's why I mean it's very important to communicate in some better way than just writing help us. It's that in the message, if you know someone that has, I don't know, Volkswagen Vito hidden in the back of the courtyard and it's not used, we will gladly take it. It will allow us to use the money in different ways. And that's the thing also, that we adapt very, very fast. If the money is not needed for one thing, it will be used for something else. And that's the thing, that when we go to Kharkiv, we will anyway need food, water, things, and we will stuff the van. We will not drive empty. So yeah, help is not only giving money, help is giving whatever you can give. And that's why in the message, it's important to target people. I know some of you are a fan of or business of cars. A lot of people are fan of cars and they have a lot of cars and sometimes they just don't use one. Not talking, of course, about Fiat Punto once again, but any van will be helpful, any ambulance will be helpful. I know some villages have maybe hidden ambulances that they don't use for years because they got a new one. And those things can be donated, definitely, and we will gladly take them. And they will be very, very helpful. So yeah, overall, communicate better. It's also good for us, I would say, but that's in process.
Thank you very much, and yeah, we hope that the community is going to be involved and is going to support this. It's very important, and now I mean with all of the details of the story of the work that we've been doing, I mean everyone here, everyone who participated to this webinar can now share all of this, share the story, talk about you, say and certify that they know you. I mean, the word to mouth works quite a lot, and personally, this is how I got to meet you, Arnaud, because of this word to mouth. When my girlfriend and I were trying to send some bulletproof vest to Ukraine, and we've heard about this crazy French driver who was driving so many supply directly to Ukraine. So but this is how trust can be built by then meeting each other and hearing the work that has been done, and then we all know that every euro that is given is going to be very, very well spent. Is there one last question? I don't want to take too much time of everyone, but yeah, is there any one last question before we wrap it up? No, Laurie, maybe you want to say a few words before we finish as well.
Yes, absolutely. So so my takeaway from this solo also was that it's not only a question about money, it's also a question about being able to apply the help that is delivered. So if someone has something they think could be useful, but then they don't necessarily know how and in which route, and does it actually reach the final destination, and how long does it take, and all, will it actually be helpful in the end? So I think this is what Refuge is really good at, that you have already experienced what is needed, where is needed, and you have the contacts in place, and you can use this network of contacts even if it's not directly money, but it's something else basically that's going to the front lines. So one or the other. Have a thought, like which one do you have more? Do you have contacts that have something that's needed, or do you have money to help buy these things that are needed?
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole point. Sorry to add that, but that's the whole point of asking precisely things to people and showing them that it's going to arrive fast. And you can use my joke about FedEx or whoever else company you want. I'm sorry to use those names in public, but I can tell that we deliver faster. So it's just advertising, you know, nothing matters at the time.
Yeah, you deliver faster in places where these companies probably don't go right now. So it's very, very important.
Except Ukrainian Post, that is doing an amazing job. Just a small shout out to them because they walk the same way than before, and little word for them.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much, everyone. I mean, we're definitely going to share this video. I mean, the residency team, EERICA, everyone is going to push it. We're going to really try as much as we can to support you. Please don't hesitate to also to push everyone, to harass everyone, to contact everyone. It's very, very important. I mean, you can never be too pushy when there are some emergency situations like this. Thank you again for your time, Dziękuję. And yeah, I hope that we're going to manage to raise these funds, and that we're going to keep helping you a lot in the coming weeks, of course, until there's the victory for Ukraine. Thank you, everyone. I wish everyone an excellent evening, and see you soon.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Ça va, Kyle.
Ça va, ok. Elohim, ça va.